Well, our next session is going to be very special, ladies and gentlemen. Breathe and Live Easy with Riya Pillai. Can we have the AV, please? Breathe and Live Easy with Riya Pillai. Riya Pillai was a director of the International Association for Human Values for over a decade, during which time several Seva projects under the essence of the 5H program: health, housing, hygiene, human values, harmony in diversity. They have been supervised and undertaken by her. Riya is an international senior teacher with the art of living and has been actively teaching worldwide for the past 20 years. Her main body of work being in India, but has taught and given talks in the US, UK, Dubai, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Jakarta on the power of breathing techniques and the ability to detox the nervous system and reduce stress levels. Riya shares her tools of knowledge and aims to empower the individual's emotional, mental, physical intelligence and overall well-being. Someone who I've had the good fortune of knowing for many years. Please welcome Riya Pillai.
Hi, Suchi. Thank you for that. It gives me great pleasure to be here sharing this platform with you and everybody else. And it gives me even greater joy to be able to invite our speaker, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, who I have the privilege and the good fortune to call Guruji. We will begin with a video, Love Moves the World.
In an era when ancient wisdom was buried under years of ritualistic practices, when games became wars and wars were played like games, a young boy was found in deep meditation in a quaint village in South India known as Ravi Shankar. He would say, "I have family everywhere. People are waiting for me." He astonished his teachers by reciting the Bhagavad Gita at a tender age of 4. With his education in Vedic literature and physics and his deep and profound knowledge of the spiritual world, he became one of the most prominent sages of the modern world. All through his life, he has been reviving ancient knowledge and creating tools and techniques that have benefited millions across the globe in living a deeper and a more joyous life. In 1981, the Art of Living was established by Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Nurtured by his care and contribution, the Art of Living has rapidly grown across 156 countries, reaching over 450 million people.
More people are searching harder for inner peace these days. Would you agree?
Correct. One of Gurudev's most unique offerings to the world is the Sudarshan Kriya, a powerful breathing technique that facilitates physical, mental, emotional and social well-being. He has designed 57 exclusive courses that empower individuals and cater to the needs of a wide spectrum of institutions in the society. Back then, Gurudev started the Art of Living service projects by taking responsibility of reviving a sinking school which had no funds. Today, his intention has manifested in over 702 free schools, which provides education and food to more than 80,000 children in rural and tribal parts of India. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Art of Living Foundation pioneered the I Stand With Humanity initiative, providing more than 80 million meals to the daily wage earners in over 170 cities across India. The service initiative during the pandemic included the distribution of 6,000 tons of food to 5 million families. It helped set up 7 COVID care hospitals and provided with over 200,000 PPE kits. Trauma relief programs were also conducted for more than 1 million migrant laborers and COVID warriors to bring mental relief. To combat the fear, stress and anxiety during such times, Gurudev launched the World Meditates campaign and also personally conducted online guided meditations twice daily, touching the lives of millions by bringing solace and keeping the hope alive. From childhood, Gurudev had immense faith in the principle of non-violence. With escalating violence and conflict in the world, Gurudev has brought peace in situations where war seemed like the only solution. Thousands of militants and Naxalites laid down their weapons and chose meditation in the northeast and other parts of India. His efforts include bringing an end to a 52-year-old fierce conflict between the FARC and the Colombian government.
Ojalá podamos los colombianos abrazar pronto el principio gandiano de la no violencia. Coincidimos con el maestro Shankar.
Gurudev has visited Iraq several times and addressed peace conferences to bring respite to the nation and its citizens. He has hosted a series of trust-enhancing interventions in Jammu and Kashmir, providing all the stakeholders to voice their opinions in an effort to restore peace in the valley.
I was named Muhammad, but after becoming a militant, I was called Khalid. We had been taught to operate guns, arms and train other youths. But now, after doing the Art of Living course and meeting Sri Sri, we realized we had chosen the wrong path. We now want to spread love and non-violence in Kashmir.
Gurudev's programs have impacted people involved in armed conflicts across the world, making him a global ambassador of peace.
We gather today in this wonderful occasion of tolerance, blessed by our Master of Love.
Gurudev strongly believes that behind every culprit there is a victim crying for help. The Art of Living prison program is helping to rehabilitate the prisoners. It has reached out to over 800,000 prisoners globally and has brought immense transformation in their lives.
I used to actually look forward to fights. But now since doing this course, I'm a total different person. I can now walk away from a fight.
I don't think any human being is totally bad. If he's bad, it's only his understanding, his behavior, his actions. But there is a good side to him, and I only see that.
The Art of Living's Welcome Home Troops project has transformed lives and brought veterans out of aggression and depression. 94% of these veterans who were suffering from the unseen wounds of war reported peace of mind and reduced stress and anxiety levels. The Art of Living has also been working towards the betterment of the environment. 48 rivers and thousands of water bodies in India have been revived. Conducted more than 100,000 cleanliness drives. Planted over 81 million trees in 36 countries. More than 2.2 million farmers have been trained to adopt natural farming till date. Gurudev found the Sri Sri Rural Development Program Trust to empower rural India. Volunteers have developed thousands of model villages across India, providing solar energy to over 90,000 individuals under Light a Home project. Gurudev's vast global network of volunteers is well known for mobilizing trauma and disaster relief for the affected populations around the world. In a world torn apart by religious, social, national and cultural divides, Gurudev's vision is to see the whole world as one family. Gurudev inspired Guinness World Record events like the World Culture Festival. The festival brought together over 3.75 million people from 155 countries with spectacular performances on a breathtaking 7-acre stage equivalent to 6 football fields by 36,602 dancers and musicians from around the globe, celebrating the diversity of all faiths and cultures. The Art of Living has hosted historic events leading to multiple Guinness World Records.
If you can have a mind of a scientist and a spiritual force of His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji gives, then we have a beautiful world and happy world and prosperous world.
And organizing a meeting no politician on earth could ever dream of.
The Art of Living Foundation. For 25 years it worked on programs promoting peace, combating violence and drug addiction, empowering our youth. It has an incredible, actually incredible following that cuts through all religions, cultures, and backgrounds. A very, very difficult thing to do in today's world.
Gurudev has been conferred with numerous awards around the globe, including the highest civilian award of Colombia, Mongolia, and Paraguay, the Padma Vibhushan, one of India's highest civilian award, and 23 honorary doctorates globally. His vision for the world is to see a smile on every face and create a stress-free and violence-free society.
The voice of peace, the voice of truth should be heard loud and clear. Namaste.
Namaste. Welcome, Gurudev. It's so amazing to have you share the same screen. I've just told everybody how fortunate it is to have been able to call you Guruji for the last 25 years. And I thank you for this opportunity to ask you a few questions, especially at a time that we all are in need of a little guidance. So Guruji, Gurudev, in these times of great uncertainty and turmoil, many have lost loved ones. When they seek knowledge and they understand the importance of the power of now or the present moment, very often they say that this moment is unbearable for them as it is filled with trauma. So for those presently in pain, how would you guide them?
See, Riya, whether it's pandemic or no pandemic, whenever someone very dear to answer is lost, when you feel the loss of a dear one, it is a painful, and pain is part of life. Now, it is wisdom that gives us the inner strength to sail over these rough times. That is why from ancient times, people have said that, okay, someone has passed away in your home, sit and read Gita. Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, say read. Then you understand the depth of life and its mysteries. Death is a mystery. And you know, a person who is walking, talking, you are interacting with them and suddenly you find they are not there. They create a big vacuum by which they give you a window to look beyond our relative material world. I think this is the time, instead of sitting and sulking in the pain, look and ask those important questions about one's own life. What is life? Who am I? What is the meaning of life? What is death is all about? You know, these type of questions, जब विचार करते हैं, when you think on these things, it brings certain depth to one's personality. So pain can be used to bring a depth to one's personality. Number one. Second is, know that similar pain is being experienced by many people around.
Yes.
Share with them. Sharing and helping them also can, to a great extent, reduce your pain. Then the third thing that what one can do during this pain, this difficult situation, meditation. Do some deep breathing, meditate, pray. You know, pain is when you feel totally helpless. When you're helpless, you know that there is a bigger power. And whatever religion you belong to, whatever nomenclature you belong to, there is a power, and you pray for help. You pray for to get strength. And this is what meditation gives you. It not only brings solace to the grieving soul, but it also brings inner strength. Yeah.
True. Gurudev, you just talked about prayer. So what truly is prayer, and is there a key to effective prayer?
Prayer is something that happens to you naturally, you know. When you are helpless, you say, oh, please help me. That inner calling or cry comes out when we are helpless, when we feel all doors are shut, we don't have nowhere to go. Then prayer happens to us naturally. And there's another occasion that prayer happens, is when we feel so grateful. When we get all that we want, and then we get more than what we think we deserve, then also prayer happens to us. And we say, oh, thank God, I'm so thankful, I'm so happy. So that inner, deep inner emotion, the feeling, is what prayer is. You cannot impose prayer on you. But what you can do, you can remember all the good things that has happened to you and be thankful, grateful. Prayer happens to you. Or in the helpless situation, as I earlier said, yes.
Okay, Guruji, I'm going to read this one question out. This is especially asked by a friend of mine. It is said that in order to attain nirvana, we need to drop all our attachments and identities, becoming detached from material things and people. If that has been achieved, but one is still attached to one's guru, is nirvana still possible?
Yes, because the attachment to the guru is attachment to wisdom, attachment to the infinite space. So there you are not attached to the guru as a form, but guru as a tattva or principle, as the spirit, as energy, not as a form, but as wisdom, because there is no difference between guru and wisdom. They are one. Yeah.
Thank you. So, what is karma, Guruji? What is collective karma? And are we going through something which is known as collective karma right now during this period?
The karma माने ऐसा है. Is Hindi okay? With how many of you want in Hindi? Hindi में चाहिए? Hindi ठीक है? Okay, I'll mix Hindi and English. दोनों बोलेंगे. अच्छा, कर्मा वही है जो हमारे चित्त में impression आ गया, there are impressions in our consciousness, that is karma. And the action we are doing is also karma. For example, if you are used to having coffee every morning or chai, and if you don't drink chai one day, your body craves for it. This is chai karma or coffee karma. So similarly, जो चीज हमारे चित्त पे अंकित हो गया है, मुद्रित हो गया, वो वैसी चीजों को बाहर पैदा करती है. In the atmosphere, it creates similar incidences, callings. So हम इसको कर्मा कहते हैं. Now, every day you brush your teeth, but it doesn't get imprinted in your consciousness. But if you yell at somebody or someone yells at you, that gets imprinted very strongly. So all the actions do not become karma. The actions which we do without any attachment. For example, I tell you, I ask you, मैं आपसे पूछता हूँ, आप 14 जनवरी को क्या भोजन किया, आपने क्या खाना खाया, तो आपको याद नहीं है, माने आपके भीतर उसका कोई कर्म नहीं लगा. मगर मैं ये पूछूंगा, आपका वेडिंग डे कौन सा है, हाँ याद है. अब किस दिन आपने केस जीती, हाँ याद है. किस दिन आपको बड़ा नुकसान हुआ, याद. जो जो हम याद रखते हैं, all those things which we remember, those things have made a deep impression in our consciousness. ये कर्म बनता है. And कर्म करते रहना चाहिए, ये भी है. जो काम हमारे सामने आया हम उसको करते जाएं, ये भी कर्म है. तो कर्म में बहुत गहराई है. There is great depth in karma. What? There is great depth in karma. Agami karma is the karma which is going to give fruit in the future. Sanchita karma, the impressions which we have already collected and we are holding on to. Agami karma. और इस तरह से प्रारब्ध karma, that karma which is giving result to us now. Suppose we invested some money and that is giving its benefit today. This is our prarabdha karma. Yeah? So there are various type of karma. That's why Bhagavan Krishna in Gita said, Gahana karmano gati. The ways of karma are very deep. तो उसमें उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि जो कर्म में अकर्म देखते हैं और अकर्म में कर्म देखते हैं वही बुद्धिमान है. माने हम कुछ भी ना करते हुए भी चुप रहे होने से भी कुछ होता है, वो कर्म देखो. और हम करते रहे हैं उसमें भी हमको ये लगता है मैंने नहीं किया, ये ईश्वर ने किया कराया, अकर्म. तो वो अकर्म को कर्म में देखना. See the akarma in karma. Many times when you do great achievement, you do some great job, you suddenly feel it's not your doing, it has happened. ये सब हो गया अपने आप. तब हमने वो अकर्मता को देख रहे हैं कर्म में. सो कर्म में अकर्म को देखना और अकर्म में कर्म को देखना. हम कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे फिर भी संसार में बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. There's so much of action. This universe is filled with actions. And so this action is karma. Impression of action is karma. Those actions, impression which would propel you to action in the future is also karma.
Wow. Gosh, Guruji, okay. Guruji, you said that this is a time to spend a little more time asking ourselves questions, deeper questions, more about life, death. And I'm going to ask you one question is there life after death?
Of course there is. There is. Even if you don't want to go on the philosophical line, on a simple note of physics, if you take the third law of thermodynamics, and if you take, laws of physics, relativity, everything is related, and then action, our life, the matter and energy are indestructible. So your consciousness, which is energy, which leaves this body, but it is there and it comes back.
Thank you.
And there are today, you don't need to prove, nobody needs proof of life, there is life after death. Even science has accepted it. Parapsychology is a department which has been open in many universities today and institutes, including National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences. They have gone into research. Now, past life regression therapy is used as a therapeutic this thing in many clinics around the world today. Yes. So it is using the memory of past life to heal the present traumas and troubles is very well known. So is there a life after death? Of course there is. I know there is. And thank God, science also has acknowledged that today. The Western medical science has also acknowledged what we have been telling in this country from ages. Yeah.
Okay, carrying on from here, Gurudev. This country has also advocated Ayurveda. And at a time, could you throw light on the place and strength of Ayurveda in the fight against COVID-19? There seems to be caution in Ayurveda as well as allopathy. We have seen of late plasma therapy has been debunked, and the medicine remdesivir is suddenly not accepted. And steroids, the use of steroids or the misuse of steroids has maybe given rise to black fungus. So there's apprehension, there's fear, there's confusion. Does Ayurveda help? What role does it play?
Definitely, Riya. There have been a number of research studies. Some more studies are happening. As we are talking, there are about 26 studies happening on the Ayurvedic medicines on COVID. And what we have got already proof of how Kabasur and Amrit works in COVID-19 cases. So there is another new medicine that's coming up, NOC-19, which is also Ayurvedic, and it is helping people to get out of their, the positive state to negative state in just 3-4 days. So they are able to get over that, and no symptoms at all. All the symptoms vanish within 5-7 days time. So it's working very well, but more research papers are awaited. And I'm sure Ayurvedic herbs, Siddha medicine, all this helps when it is in the early stages. But if someone is affected very badly, we must take them to allopathic. There is no question. Today we cannot be dogmatic about any system. If someone says, I will take only allopathy, I am not going to look into Ayurveda, they are doing a mistake. Same way, if someone says, I am going to do only homeopathy or Ayurveda or allopathy, they will also be not correct. So we need today, whatever helps, we must take it. That mindset is needed. Emergency cases, definitely one has to go to allopathy. There is no hope in just emergency treatment for through Ayurveda. But on a long term, Ayurveda definitely helps. And like I said, it boosts the immune system, number one. I have seen here in Bangalore, in our Ayurvedic Medical College, more than 1,000 patients, when they have been given Amrit and Kabasur, they became well in just short period of time. They didn't have to go to hospital. They didn't have to go to, emergency clinic. So definitely there is a possibility. And what we did is we sent this Kabasur to Frankfurt Innovation Center, which is German government's institute on research. They do virology research. So they found this Kabasur inhibits coronavirus to the extent of 85%.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, and it is so effective. They have proved that today, AIIMS around this country, AIIMS hospitals and gyms and many other hospitals are doing, research. And soon you would expect within a month's time, good news that Ayurveda can definitely help people with COVID. Yes.
Wow, Gurudev, that's amazing and so needed today. Yes. Guruji, in the video that was played before you entered, we saw a lot of the Seva projects that Art of Living and International Association for Human Values has put together and served humanity. What specifically are we doing currently for humanity to heal? What are the projects? What are the different projects that we have?
I just invite people to join and do Seva wherever, whatever, in whatever fashion is possible. And countless projects are happening. Of course, in the COVID time, people are helping to bring oxygen to the needy. Our volunteers are working to find hospital beds. They're trying to reach out to people in the villages, and they're doing, and also supplying meals, 100,000 meals, 100 million meals have been given to people around the country. So there are so many projects that's happening. You can't even count them on the fingers. It's all because, when a person meditates, what happens? He doesn't become so selfish and self-centered. He wants to contribute. So as an impact, this is the side effect of meditation. The side effect of meditation is you can't just say, oh, I'm happy, I'm blissful, I sit to myself. No, you go out there and you participate in the society. You help out the people who are in need. And this is happening in big way. But main thing is to find inner strength. So number of meditation sessions, classes are happening for people around the world. The doctors who work day and night in the hospital, there is a general sense of burnout with them.
Yeah.
They cannot handle every day. They are seeing the workload, which has increased several fold than what they used to do before now. And so there is fear, there is anxiety. And so there are meditation classes for them, some breathing technique programs for them, meditation, all these yoga classes. This is also happening in a big way. The biggest challenge in the coming years will be mental health issue.
Yeah, definitely.
And Art of Living is doing a lot to help people gain their inner strength and mental well-being. Yeah, those programs are happening also. Yeah.
Yes. And I think millions are benefiting from it, Guruji. And I think everybody over here also wants to be led into meditation by you. if that's possible, we can all spend the next few moments meditating with you.
Yes, of course. You can all join and everyone can meditate, a short meditation. This is the real thing. Other talking is like icing on the cake. Real stuff is meditation. Okay, good. So get ready. In just a minute, we will go on to meditation. Okay?
Yes. Thank you, Pujya.
Namaste. Let's sit now. Sit our spine erect, shoulders relaxed. Your back well rested would be better. Even otherwise, it's okay. So far, you are comfortable. Make yourself a little more comfortable. First, we will begin with our gaze fixed on the floor at 30 degrees. 30 degree means about a foot in front of you. Your gaze is fixed at 30 degrees right in front of you. If you look straight, that is 90 degrees. Now you have to look at 30 degrees, 1/3 of just looking straight. Okay, so you are not looking at me or the laptop. Your gaze is at 30 degrees, eyes are open. You are becoming aware of your whole body. And your breath. Now let us become aware of our environment. Our atmosphere. Our gaze is fixed, but mentally we are aware of the space all around us and the air in there, the atmosphere therein. And now let's attend to our whole body. Our body has trillions and trillions of cells pulsating with energy. Keep your eyes open and just listen to the instruction lightly without too much concentration on them. We are this moment aware of both our environment and our body. And spontaneously your attention now will go to the breath. It's already gone there, see? Your breathing is happening in certain rhythm. Let it happen. There is a natural rhythm to the breath. We are keeping our gaze fixed and our body still. Just these two things we are doing right now. Our gaze is fixed and our body is still. And we are aware of our breath. As you pay attention to your breath, you may also simultaneously notice the stress, tension, worries, all those stuff can just surface at this moment. Just let it be. We are not in a hurry to get rid of stress. If it is there, just let it be. Just for 3 minutes more, we keep our body still and keep our gaze fixed as well. Now we may gently close our eyes Let's keep a big smile on our face. And notice the waves of breath which are rocking the body. Like the waves that crash on the shore, our breath is rising up and falling back. Unceasing waves of breathing. Gentle attention without any concentration. Let us become aware of our mind now. Our body is like the wick of a candle. The mind is the glow all around it. Now let us shift our attention to the walls of the room we are in. Keeping your eyes closed, just become aware of the walls and the space between your body and the walls. Now, whatever thoughts are coming in the mind, just let them come. Embrace all the thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts, everything. Any sensation in the body, just let it be. Let's take a deep breath in with a big smile now. And slowly breathe out with a bigger smile. As we smile, all the muscles in our face and the cells in the brain, they relax. Let us become aware of the space above our head up to the ceiling of the room we are in. Just become aware of the empty space up to the ceiling. Let's place our attention, our mind there. As we breathe in, let us take our attention to the ceiling. And as we breathe out, let us bring our attention to the floor we are sitting on. Let's do this just few times. Breathe in. Take your attention to the ceiling. And when you breathe out, the same breath comes down like showers all the way to the floor. Now let go of all your efforts. This moment there is nothing to do and nothing to know either. Just let us relax more and more. Let go of all your efforts and totally relax. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You are peace. You are light. And slowly and gradually become aware of your body and surroundings. And with a big smile, you may take a deep breath in. And breathe out slowly with a smile. And slowly and gradually you may open your eyes.
So I want to say a very, very big thank you to Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar for giving us a glimpse into his infinite wisdom, and may he continuously continue to guide us and shower us with abundance of blessings. Thank you all.